Hi everyone. We're going to multiply and divide with scientific numbers. Let's look at our first example. Okay, so because this is multiplication, it doesn't matter which order we multiply in. We can actually rewrite this whole problem. This means the same thing as 5 times 4 times 10 to the 6th power times 10 to the 8th power. Okay, 5 times 4 is 20. Okay, times, okay, I have powers with the same base 10, so keep 10. And then add my exponents. 6 plus 8 is 14. Okay? Now, this number is not in scientific form, but we would like to put it in scientific form. So this number here has to be a number 1 or greater, but less than 10. So that means we have to move the decimal from here, where it's at right now, and put it right here. So we just made this number less by a power of 10. So we went from 20 to 2. Okay, since we made this number here less by a power of 10, we got to make this number here bigger by a power of 10 by just adding 1 here. So this will give us 10 to the 15th power. So these two numbers are equivalent, just in different forms. Okay, this is in scientific form, the final answer. All right, let's look at the next one. 7 times 2. Okay, I'm not going to rearrange anything. I'm just going to leave it where it's at. I know everything is being multiplied, so I'm going to multiply my numbers. 7 times 2, that's going to give me 14 times, I have powers with the same base 10. So I'm going to keep the base 10 and add my exponents, because that's the product rule. Keep the same base and add the exponents. Okay, this number is not in scientific form because a is not 1 or greater but less than 10, but we can fix that. So the decimal's here right now. Let's move it and put it right here. So we made this number smaller by a power of 10. We've got to make this one bigger by a power of 10, so we just add 1. That's it. And that is how you multiply scientific numbers. Okay, let's talk about dividing. Let's talk about dividing numbers in scientific form. Dividing numbers in scientific form. All right, so let's look at our first example, 3. I'll just make it up. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to divide out these numbers first. 27 divided by 9 gives you 3. And then you're going to divide these powers with the same base. Remember, when we're dividing powers with the same base, we keep the same base 10 and just subtract. 6 minus 3 is 3. Let's look at another one. Okay, we need to divide these out first. 1.2 divided by 4 is going to give us 0.3 times, and we divide these out. Keep the same base 10. 8 minus 5 is 3. Okay, we're almost finished. This number is not in scientific form. Okay, because this number here has to be 1 or greater but less than 10. 0.3 is not 1 or greater. But that's not a problem. We can just move the decimal from here to here, making this number go from 0.3 to 3. But we just made this front number bigger by a power of 10. That means we have to subtract this by a power of 10. Okay, so we're just going to subtract 1 from 3, and that'll give us 2. That's it. So we've divided it, and then we gave our answer in scientific form. Okay, let's add. Let's show how we can add and subtract numbers in scientific form. Add and subtract. Let's do adding first. So this is number 5. Okay, so when we're adding numbers in scientific form, we have to have matching powers. Do you see that we don't have matching powers? This is 10 to the 8th, this is 10 to the 7th. Okay, they both have to the exponents have to match. Okay, and I like to always match up with the higher power. Okay, match the lower power to the higher power, because when we do that, most of the time our number is in scientific form. So it's less work for us to do that. Okay, so we're going to add 1. That I'm going to go over to the side. Okay, when we're matching our exponents, I always like to match up with the higher exponent. When you do that, most of the time your number will be in scientific form, which means one less step. Okay, so let me go to the side and change this so we end up with a power of 8. Okay, so I need to add 1 here. That'll give me 10 to the 8th, but I just made this number here bigger by a power of 10. That means I have to make the front number smaller by a power of 10. So I have to move the decimal from where it's at right now and put it over here. So then our decimal is going to be 0.2. So I'm going to replace this number here for this number. So we'll have 0.2 times 10 to the 8th plus 6 times 10 to the 8th. Okay, now I have matching powers. I can go ahead and add the numbers. 6 plus 0.2 is 6.2 times, and keep your matching power. You don't have to do anything else. Keep your matching power. And that's it. That's how you add. Okay, let's do another one. Okay, 6. 7 times 10 to the 2nd power plus 5 times 10 to the 4th power. Okay, so we want matching powers since we're adding. Okay, we want to match with the higher power. So that means we need to change this number here. I'm going to go to the side. 7 times 10 squared. Okay, so I need to add 2 to make that exponent 4. So then I'll have 10 to the 4th, but I just made this number bigger, okay, by 100. So I have to move the decimal 2 places to the left here to make that number smaller. Again, because I made this number bigger, okay, by 100, that means 10 times 10, so I move 2 places to the right. I have to move 2 places to the left to adjust for having made this number much bigger, because we want to keep the value, the same value. So I moved once, twice. Okay, we just want it in a different form. So this gives us 0.07 times 10 to the 4th. So that's what I'm going to replace my first number with. So I'm going to have 0.07 times 10 to the 4th for this, plus 5 times 10 to the 4th here, So add your numbers, add these numbers. That's going to be 5.07 times, and keep your matching power. Okay, we need to subtract. So let's show you how to subtract. All right, I'll just erase this. All right, so I think this was number 7. Okay, we need matching powers. So let's match 10 to the 3rd and make it 10 to the 4th. So I'm going to go to the side right here. And 3, we'll add 1, will give us 10 to the 4th, and that's what we want. But I just made this bigger by a power of 10. I got to make this smaller by a power of 10. My decimal's there. I have to move it over here. So I'm going to have 0.2. So I'm going to replace this number for this number right here. Okay. Subtract 0.2 times 10 to the 4th power. Okay, now I can subtract my numbers. 9 minus 0.02 is going to give me 8.8 times, keep my matching power. That's it. And that's how we do it. All right, let's try another one. Okay, so we're subtracting. So the first thing we need is a matching power, and they don't match. So let's work on this one here. Let me come here and fix this one. All right, so we have 4. We need to add 2 here. So we're moving the decimal 2 places to the right for this power here. That means we made this bigger. We have to make this smaller. We move 2 places to the right. On this number here, the back number, we have to move 2 places to the left on the front number, because you have to go in opposite directions to offset the change. So that's going to give us 0.25 times 10 to the 6th power. Now we have matching power, so I'm going to replace this with this number here. Okay, so now I can subtract my numbers. 5 minus 0.25 is 4.75 times, keep my matching power, and it is in scientific form, so I don't have to do any more, and that's it. And this concludes this lesson on multiplying, dividing, adding, and subtracting numbers in scientific form.